Hi, today we're going to run through 10 minutes of Sun Salutation A or Surya Namaskar A. Sun salutations are a great way to warm up the entire body. So let's get started. We'll start standing at the top of the mat. And so as you find your stance to begin with, take a few moments to rock back and forth on your feet so that we can try and establish this equal weight in between the left and the right foot, a balanced weight between the ball of the foot and the heel. Standing, begin to turn the muscles in the legs on and come to find a neutral pelvis. You can set the shoulders back and down if that feels comfortable and reach long through the crown of the head. Take a few moments to breathe and feel yourself standing tall, strong. Reaching the arms up overhead, feel the shoulders begin to elevate up. Feel an active reach, as if you're really trying to reach for something. Check in with the pelvis here. We want to keep it nice and neutral. Legs stay strong. Reaching tall. Fold yourself forward. We're going to hinge at the hips, using the pelvis to tip forward. Fold yourself over, and knees can always have a little bend in them here, particularly as you warm up. In your forward fold, we want to keep the weight in the balls of the feet as well as the heels, so we're not just shifting all of our weight back to make it feel like we're getting deeper. We want to stay strong through the legs. Coming up into a halfway lift, it might be fingertips on the ground or to rest on the legs. Finding this point where we can get the back of the head, the shoulders, and the pelvis nice and lined up. Begin to lower your hands down onto the ground, set them up, and let's come into plank. For our first plank, we'll start on the knees. As you press your hands into the ground, set your shoulders. There's this wrap around the rib cage, and the collarbones are broad, so we don't need to look down at what's happening at the hands. We can look slightly forward. There's a little tuck of that tailbone under, and the glutes are engaged. Press your hands into the mat and feel as though you're trying to slide or drag your hands back towards you. So you're getting this pull sensation, pulling yourself down onto your tummy. From here, reset the shoulders, pressing down through the pelvis, glutes are engaged, lift up. Keep that pull action happening through the hands as they press down onto the mat. Shoulders and elbows reach back. Lowering yourself down. If you want, you can press into a child's pose and then come to downward dog from there, or tuck your toes and press up. In your first downward dog, you might pedal out the feet a little bit, maybe shake out the head. And as we settle into this position, knees do not have to be locked out or straight. Your heels do not have to touch the ground. But as we push the hands through the ground, we still want to feel those shoulders lifting like we did when we had our hands over our head. They're lifting up, and we've got a little external rotation, so that outer line of the armpit is trying to roll in towards the body. Spine is long, hips lift up nice and tall. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And we're going to lift up onto tiptoes and begin to walk ourselves forward, coming to the top of the mat and folding over. Lift yourself up halfway. And as you release, roll yourself up the spine. Nice and slowly, let's come all the way up to standing. As you come back to your Tadasana, your standing pose, you can stick with that option. That is a wonderful option. That can be your Sun Sal A. If you want to begin to spice it up a little bit, as we move through the next few rounds, perhaps a little bit faster, feel free to add or stay as you are. Reaching arms up, get that elevation through the shoulders. Folding forward, weight stays in the balls of the feet, doesn't shift all the way back. Finding that halfway lift, long spine, fingers, all the choices. Hands down to the ground, toes, or maybe stick to the knees, it's up to you. If you're on your toes though, your heels push back, tailbone tucks, and we keep that effort through the hands and shoulders. Collarbones are broad, elbows draw back, bend the elbows, pull yourself down onto your mat. Untuck your toes. Reset the shoulders, you've got that baby cobra with the hands on the ground or floating up. Keep that pull. Lower down. Come into downward facing dog. Maybe pit stop in child's pose if you like. Setting long arms, pressing hands down, that lift through the shoulders. If it feels good, begin to draw the heels down towards the ground. You might bend the knees to make that kind of press a little more comfortable. Press down through the balls, press down through the heels. Begin to try and lift the toes up. Get a little bit more stretch through that downward dog position. Let's take 2 more breaths. And so from here, you can take those little steps, or maybe it's one big step to the top of the mat, folding forward. Lifting up halfway. And then maybe you roll yourself up. Maybe you take a reverse swan dive and come back to your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Let's go one more time here. We've got the option now for our Chaturanga. So let's reach the arms up. Folding forward, use the hips, long spine until you feel that spine begin to round deeper in that fold. Halfway lift, come back to that point where the spine is nice and long. Hands down to the mat, step yourself into your plank. So Chaturanga from the toes, we want to pause coming just below the elbows. So as you pull yourself down, pausing. From here, a little rock back, shift yourself forward, coming into your upward facing dog so your thighs are lifting off the ground. Press down through the tops of the feet. From here, you can hike up your hips, rolling over the toes, or step 1 foot at a time, coming into downward dog. And so it's up to you here if you want to take little steps, if you want to take that big step, if you want to begin to explore with jumping, bend your knees, have a little peek between your hands, see if you can get yourself a little hop to the top of the mat and fold. Find that halfway lift again. And then make your way up to standing your way. Come back to your Tadasana, mountain pose, standing tall. Breathing in and out. So it's up to you here. You can continue to move through those repetitions if you like, or we can leave it there. Thanks for practicing your Sun Salutation A with me. Take care.